Arg ahoy, mateys, and welcome back to another episode of Out of the Park Baseball 25, featuring the Pittsburgh Pirates led by Captain Jack Sparrow. We have a 3-game road series coming up against the AL Central's Chicago White Sox. We have All-Star voting coming up, so I'm going to actually start this video by doing a little bit of that, but I wanted to do some house cleaning on our last video that we had. If I check out our negotiate with draftees, I mentioned that we drafted Jack Caglione because we needed help at first base, and he was the best left-handed power-hitting first baseman available at the time, as well as being the best player available at the time. But I also forgot to mention that he can also pitch. He is a left-handed pitcher. Probably won't be his long-term role with our team, but it is something that he might be able to do. So we'll give him the opportunity to develop in both in our minor league system as we play forward. The most likely thing for him to end up developing into, though, is going to be our starting first baseman and or designated hitter. But I just wanted to mention that he is a possible two-way player. If you read his draft info and such, a lot of people actually project him as more of a pitcher than a hitter, but I think in this game, if you look at his pitching numbers, he's kind of a borderline starter at best. The best thing he has going for him is he is a left-handed thrower, but he's, like I said, he's probably going to have the most value for us as a power-hitting first baseman down the road. But I just wanted to throw that out there as a possibility. Again, if you look at our negotiate with draftees here, we'll see what happens with these guys. I'm hoping everyone signs. I'm not holding my breath on Boston Bateman, but stranger things have happened, I guess. Before we get to our White Sox series, though, let's go ahead and check out the All-Star voting. I wanted to give you guys a look at kind of what's going on around the league. So we were going to vote for our All-Stars here, and then we'll see how our voting compared to who actually made it. I'm going to do pitchers last since they're usually the hardest to figure out because there's a lot of information that's just not on this screen available to you right now. But let's start with the American League and the catchers. All right. The easiest way I kind of decide who I'm going to vote for is I kind of scroll through, look at who stands out with the highest WAR and runs created. If you look at this, there's a couple standouts for catcher here. Danny Jansen and Sal Perez both stand out there. Adley Rutschman, Max Stassi, also a couple guys that could make that decision a little bit harder there. I think given this one, I'm going to give the vote to Sal Perez just because when it comes down to two players that are as close as Perez and Jansen are, I tend to, my heart always goes to the guy with a higher batting average. So we'll go with Sal Perez to start things out. At first base here, this one is a tough one between Tristan Casas and Vlad Guerrero. Vlad has the higher batting average, but the real reason that I'm going to vote for Vlad over Casas here, even though they are very close in all aspects, is Vlad has the 24 homers and the 15 stolen bases. So he's on pace for a possible 30-30 season, and I love the versatility of players like that. One of my favorite players of all time is Alfonso Soriano, and I love Vlad's dad. He is probably in my top 3 favorite baseball players of all time. So a little bit of personal bias there. I'll go with Vlad Jr. as our first baseman, just to scroll through so you can see no one else was really available except for either of those two. Second base is another difficult one. We have Jose Altuve, Willie Castro, Jackson Holliday, all available. Holliday and Altuve's lines as far as runs created and WAR extremely similar. This is another one where I'll give the slight edge to Altuve because the batting average. I'll also give the slight edge to Altuve just because he's more of a legacy player than Holliday is, even though I do like the young kids. I get that the All-Star game is a place where the stars are going to play, right? So I think I'd imagine both are going to make the team, but I'll just give the slight edge to Altuve there. My personal bias. At third base, let's scroll through here. Royce Lewis looking great there, 142. on the runs created. Jose Ramirez very close as well. Slightly lower WAR, but higher runs created. Lewis has the edge in batting average. They're both doing double-digit homers and stolen bases. I think this is another one where I'll just edge on the side of the veteran. But again, I think both guys are going to make the All-Star team. It looks like no one else is really close at third base in the American League. Maybe Paredes will be the third guy to make the team there. At shortstop, let's see, we got Carlos Correa. Gunnar Henderson looks like a runaway favorite here. And yeah, you can make a case for Seager. 22 home runs is very good there. Seager also has the higher WRC, just by one though. Man, that's just close. I think again, the double stat versatility there, 16 home runs and 20 stolen bases. Gunnar could be another 30-30 guy. So we'll give. Usually, I like I said, for the last two, I aired on the side of the veteran. This time, I'll go with Gunnar there. But again, both of them are going to make the All-Star game. My guess is Witt will get that third spot there too. Though Correa could make it in. This is where OOTP gets a little weird because it does break down by specific outfield positions instead of 3 outfielders. If you look at left field here, it's a runaway. It's Juan Soto. I don't even think anyone has above a 1.5 WAR except him. I guess Jordan Alvarez does. But Juan Soto, look at that, 24 home runs, 162 WRC plus, 560 OPS. Does anyone even have above a 500? I guess Alvarez. And who was the other one I saw? Ezekiel Duran have over 5 there. But Soto, easy pick for left field. Center field. This one's a little squirrelier. Byron Buxton is here with a 2.0 ER or WAR, but a 236 batting average. Riley Green is an interesting choice, double digits in both home runs and stolen bases, and a strong batting average, much higher runs created than Buxton there. If we scroll down here, Mike Trout is another interesting guy. That 237 batting average is kind of crazy, but he does have a higher OPS and he has more home runs. And again, I've been erring on the side of the veterans. The fact that Mike Trout is healthy, or never mind, I look at that. He's day to day with a bruised thigh, but the fact that he's made it this far, we'll give him the pick there just to be nice. Again, a day where you would like to see the stars come out. Mike Trout, if there's a bigger star, let me know who he is. And then right fielders, if we scroll through here, it looks like Kyle Tucker is the only guy that could even come close to Aaron Judge here. I guess you're Abreu, but it's Aaron Judge by a landslide. And then last but not least, designated hitter. Surprisingly, not a lot of good designated hitters in the American League. Looks like Harold Ramirez, Kyle Manzardo, Ryan Mountcastle you could make a case for. I think we'll go with Ramirez. That makes the most sense. The 325 batting average is great. Not a lot of home runs or stolen bases, but highest WRC plus there. And I think he had the highest WAR. I guess Manzardo had a 1.7 WAR. Am I missing anything here? Looks like I'm not. So there we go. Then back to starting pitchers. I kind of looked at this a little bit beforehand because this is a lot of information to go through. And the 3 guys that stood out to me, number 1 with a bullet is Kevin Gausman. 10.3 strikeouts per 9. I think he has the highest WAR of all pitchers, and he's rocking a 9.2 record with a 3.11 ERA. I think that's among the bottom 5 in the American League. So he's definitely getting a vote there. The other 2 guys I liked for this were Taj Bradley, 8-1 with was a sub 3 ERA. The whip's a little high, but I like the win percentage there. I am kind of old school in that, where I think pitchers should be getting wins, and I think he has the highest win percentage of everyone in the American League here if you do a quick scroll through. So we'll go ahead and give him my second vote. And my last one, it was a little tougher, but Pablo Lopez was my guy. I think if you scroll through here really fast, you'll see he has the lowest ERA. He has a sub-1 whip with a plus 10 strikeouts per 9 there. The win-loss isn't great, but if you look at these pitchers, most of the win-losses are not great for any of them. So I will go ahead and give him my last vote for starting pitchers. And then relief pitchers, primarily going to be closers here. You'll see some non-closers available to choose from. I think Hader is having a great year here, almost a 12 strikeout per 9, 2 ERA, and I think he's close to the lead in the American League for saves there, so we'll give him a pick. Who else is available here? Quick glance. Looking for high save counts, low ERAs. Will Smith, 27 saves, a 2.31 ERA. Not tremendous numbers, but certainly better than most of the guys, especially the low ERA. I like to see that, so we'll go ahead and give him a vote. And our last guy, what we went with Hader. Clace is usually a guy. 0.78 whip is great. Only 17 saves, though. Trying to see if anyone jumps out here. Hunter Brown, that's an interesting use case. 6-1 with a 1.01 whip. Let's see how many of those games he started. Looks like only 5. Not bad. Yeah, I think I'll go ahead and give him my last vote there as a middle relief guy who's been very effective. So that's our American League voting. We'll switch to the National League now. Over here, I'll start with pitchers, just since I did the pitchers on the other side. If you've been paying attention when I look at the league stats, it's very easy to guess who my first vote is going to go for here, and that is Spencer Strider, who's playing amazing right now. Sub-1 whip, almost a 15 strikeout per 9. He's having an ungodly season. 4.7 WAR. We'll go ahead and give him the vote there. Quick run through here. Chris Sale, you could make a good case for. Zach Wheeler, another guy you could make a good case for. Yamamoto doesn't have wins and losses, but his numbers are pretty good. But there was, I can't find him. Where did he go? Dylan Cease is looking really good for the Padres, almost as good as he is in real life. 7-4, 11.5 strikeouts per 9. I like him as one of my picks. And my last guy, I go through here, Jordan Montgomery, Bobby Miller. You could make a good case for a low strikeout per 9, though. Luzardo. Trying to look at high WARs and good win-loss records with low ERAs. Freddie Peralta makes an interesting case here, almost a 1 whip. 12-4 record. I think if you look through here, that might be the best win percentage for any pitcher with double-digit wins. I would say right now it's probably between him and Sale. I'll give Peralta the pick since I gave Strider the pick, and I would hate to vote for 2 Braves pitchers, though the Braves pitchers are doing tremendous. Max Fried is another guy, 3.03 ERA, 10.2 strikeouts per 9, but I like Peralta there. I mean, a bunch of pitchers are going to make it, so it's not a huge deal either way. If we switch to the relievers, Bednar's been up there a lot of the way. The whip's high, but strong saves. Looks pretty good. Low ERA. So I'll go ahead and give him my first vote because I'm biased and the rest of my team sucks. There were a couple other guys that stood out to me when I was looking through. One of them is Raisel Iglesias, a 1.85 ERA. I think he has the most saves in the National League. 0.72 whip is outrageous. So we'll go ahead and vote for him. And I think Devin Williams, who's healthy here, unlike in real life, is also pitching out of his mind. Again, another high whip, but huge strikeouts per 9, low ERA, 28 saves. He'll be our last relief pitch vote there. And now we'll go to the position players. Catcher, we got the Contrerases. William, certainly looking very good. He would be the first person I would look at. Sean Murphy is another guy, 20 home runs. JT Realmuto, 298 with double digits in home runs and stolen bases. I think here I'm going to go with Sean Murphy. Is the highest adjusted runs created. I think by a pretty significant margin too, right? Contreras is 142. Realmuto 145. Yeah. So we'll go with Murphy. I think all three are going to make the All-Star game though, so no harm, no foul. First base, Pete Alonso always jumps off the board. Huge home run numbers for him. Christian Encarnacion Strand playing out of his mind. He's almost the Tristan Casas of the National League in this sim, which I wish he was doing in real life, but instead he's just injured all the time. He's had a tough year. Rowdy Tellez looks good, but not quite good enough. I wouldn't make a case for him over Matt Olson or Encarnacion Strand. You might be able to make the case for him over Alonso. I want to be biased because he's on my team. Freddie Freeman, also another one, 341 batting average is insane and almost a 600 OPS there. Or sorry, slugging percentage. I keep saying OPS. Strand is actually over on slugging percentage. Wow. I think this one, I'm going to go, it's really close between Freeman and Strand here. But that slash line is crazy. So I'm going to give it to Encarnacion Strand. We'll see if Tellez makes it as the third first baseman, but my guess it's going to be Encarnacion Strand, Freeman, and probably Matt Olson. That would be my gut on that. All of them have over 160 adjusted runs created. Second base, another close one. Albies is obviously the guy you would lean to first there. Matt McClain, you could also make a good case for. Quick scroll through. I think I'll just easily go with Albies there, hitting over 300. Close to double digits on home runs and steals. Third base, Brett Baty looking good for the New York Mets. If you watched my Out of the Park Baseball 24 series, he was my big acquisition at the trade deadline, and I was going to build my whole team around him, but instead he is now good on the Mets, and we have other people to build around in this one. Austin Riley looks like the easy choice here. Machado's interesting with the double digits in home runs and stolen base, but Austin Riley, I think we'll go with him. 25 home runs. Looks much better than everyone else. Over at shortstop, this is going to be an interesting one. We got Mookie Betts. Absolutely great stat line. And if we scroll through, Oneil Cruz has a higher WAR, but a lot lower runs created. Double digits in home runs and stolen bases. The average, the slash line there, obviously a lot lower. Trey Turner, another guy you could make a case for, on pace for close to a 30-30 season. I think here I'll go with Betts, even though my heart wants to vote for Oneil Cruz. Screw it. I'm going to vote for Oneil Cruz. It's my vote, right? It's not going to determine who's actually going to make the team or not. Left field. Left field. Let's see. Teoscar Hernandez probably looks like he's a runaway here for that. Go ahead and vote for him. Voted him off my screen there. Center field. Again, this is another one where it's weird because none of the left fielders were great. Now you have three center fielders who look better than them. Interesting that Lee has, so Michael Harris, the home runs and stolen bases, and even the slash line look really good. Lee's batting average is crazy, and the adjusted runs created is so much higher than Harris that I think I'm going to go with Lee at center. And then at right, I think that's a really easy decision. I'll look through just to make sure, but I'm pretty sure no one's even close. And yeah, no one's even close. on pace for possibly a 40-40 season, not a 40-70 season. So, and then designated hitter, here's another one. If you've been looking when I looked at the stats for the league every so often, it was very obvious it was going to be Shohei Ohtani here. If we look through, I don't even think anyone comes close to him, and they don't. So there we go. We'll submit our ballot, and we'll see what happens after we play our first game here against Chicago. It's going to be Paul Skenes against Erick Fedde. Looks like we have a slight advantage here. I would love it if we could walk out of this series with at least 2 wins, if not a sweep. Looks like Ke'Bryan Hayes is injured here, so I might sub him out for Xavier Edwards, just to let him rest a little. Henry Davis is on a cold streak, but I'll keep him in just to see. He might be a guy that we call down here, though, sooner than later. I'm going to move Nick Gordon up in the lineup just a little bit. Actually, I'm going to put Xavier Edwards there, and then I'll go ahead and do something that looks like that. All right, Skenes entering this one on a cold streak. But you can see we got Benintendi is coming in injured, and we have a couple guys with a cold streak on Chicago. So I think this is a winnable game. We're in Chicago, so let's see if we have the road luck on our side here. We'll start things off with Oneil Cruz, and makes contact. Looks like it might fall in, but it doesn't. Phillips gets under it, and that is the first batter and the first out. Here comes the big block of text. All right, Brian Reynolds up second. Full count coming in. Makes contact, shoots it right over the third baseman's head. And we have ourselves a base runner. We'll go ahead and try and steal. He goes. And the throw is in there, and he is safe. So, successful stolen base, number 15 for Reynolds, playing a little bit of small ball. Sowinski strikes out looking. Let's see if Tellez can do something to get him in. Unfortunately, he cannot. Strike out number 2 of the game. And we end the first with nothing doing. Nicky Lopez to lead things off. Let's see if Skenes can get some strikeouts. 0-2 to start. There's contact right to Tellez. 1 up, 1 down. 3 pitches for the first out, 3 pitches for the second batter, but that is a hit. 1 out single. Eloy Jimenez up next. 1-2 count, and he strikes out looking. And now let's see if we can punch Robert out. Strikes out on 3 pitches, and Skenes strikes out 2 as well. So an even-ish first inning, 2 strikeouts for each pitcher, 1 hit allowed for each pitcher. And here's the top of the second, Xavier Edwards to lead things off. 0-1 pitch incoming. Edwards grounds out to second. Lopez puts him away. 1 up, 1 down. Eddie Olivares up next. Strikes out with the check swing. And Henry Davis, 1-1 count. Makes contact. Looks like that might hang up, and it does. 3 up, 3 down for the Buccos in the top of the second. Skenes to start off the bottom of the second to Yoan Moncada. At one time a promising prospect. Now a shell of his former self. Leads things off with a flyout to Sowinski. Andrew Vaughn fouling out to catcher Henry Davis in foul territory. Out number 2. Full count coming in for DeJong. Makes contact over to Edwards at third. Throws over to first. And a 3 up, 3 down inning the other way. So mirror images of each other here. Let's see how the third goes. 3-1 count to Nick Gordon. Makes contact, shoots it up to center, and tough play for Robert, but he slides in and grabs it. 1 down. Andrew McCutcheon up next. 1-2 count. Pitch incoming, makes contact out into right field. Phillips should be able to get under it, and he does. Out number 2. All right, here comes Oneil Cruz, second at bat of the game. Makes contact. It's going to be out into right field. Looks like it's got enough, and it does. Home run. number 22 for Oneil Cruz. 389 feet, first run of the game, and the Buccos are on the board. All right, let's go, Oneil Cruz. All-star shortstop. All right, Brian Reynolds. Flying, woof. Robert made that look more difficult than it needed to be. Dives to grab it. Reynolds is out to end at the top of the third, but we get one on the board. Let's see if Skenes can hold on here. All right, so full count, and he gives up a single past Gordon at second. Not a great way to start the inning. Brett Phillips up next. Makes the bunt, and he will advance Stassi up to second base. Good sacrifice hit there. Lopez up next. Flies out, it looks like, over to Reynolds, and Stassi won't be able to advance. So, 2 down now. And Tiendi up. Full count incoming, and he walks into Eloy Jimenez, the third hitter, who strikes out swinging, and Skenes gets out of it. Still 1-0 Pirates as we start the fourth. Sawinski striking out. Had a kind of tough year for us. Velez also striking out, so both of them, I think, have struck out twice in this game. And Fedde strikes out the side to get through the top of the fourth. All right, Skenes versus Robert here. Robert, easily the White Sox best hitter. Shoots it out into left there, and Brian Reynolds under it for out number 1. Yoan Moncada up next. 2-2 count. Let's see if Skenes can grab another strikeout here. He does not. Moncada pops it up. Gordon should be able to get under it, and he does. Out number 2. And Andrew Vaughn, 1-0 count, makes contact, gets past Edwards on the tough hop. Reynolds tracks it down. Vaughn might make it to second here. Throw incoming, and he is. So, gives up a 2-out double. Hate to see that. All right, DeJong up, and on the first pitch, makes contact right over to Nick Gordon. Gordon throws to first, and that ends the fourth inning. Pirates still up 1-0. A pitcher's duel so far. Eddie Olivares to start off the fifth. Strikes out. That's the fourth strikeout for Fedde. Henry Davis up now, full count. Pitch incoming. Big hit out into center field, but Robert quickly gets under it. Out number 2. And Nick Gordon on the first pitch makes contact and shoots it right past first base. And he is on board, and we are probably going to send him here. All right, he goes. Throw incoming, and he is safe. Excellent. So our second stolen base of the game. McCutcheon, let's see how clutch Kutch can be, and not at all there as he grounds out to third. Retires the side. And Skenes back on the mound. Only 59 pitches through the first 4, so not super efficient, but efficient enough. But he's got to start. Can't give up hits like that. Another one gets past Edwards over there at third. And that is another double of the same variety. So Stassi having a good game so far. I think he's 2 for 2 now. Brett Phillips up, who had the sack bunt earlier, will swing away this time, but he will advance him nonetheless. It is an out, but a sacrifice could bring Stassi in and tie the game up. So we'll have to be careful here. Nicky Lopez up, and on the first pitch, makes contact, and that will be an RBI single for Nicky Lopez. Game tied at 1. Got to be careful about him stealing. I'm going to throw over to first. And 2-1 pitch to Tiendi. Shoots it out to right. Olivares under it. Out number 2. And Eloy Jimenez, who struck out in his last at-bat. This time, we got the stolen base. Henry Davis throws in there, but he is safe. And on the second pitch, Jimenez makes contact. Reynolds will try and charge into it. Can't get to it. And that will be... Oh, throw to plate. But no. It was too late. It looked like he had quite a jump there. And that is RBI number 2 now. White Sox have the lead. All right, Robert flies out to end the 5th. But 2 on the board. Skenes gives up the win, and now he's on hook for the loss unless we can get something going here. Oneil Cruz shoots it up to center. Might fall in, but it does not. Excellent diving catch for Luis Robert, who has been an all-star center fielder in this game. Ryan Reynolds makes contact. Hits it right over to Andrew Vaughn at first, though. And here comes Jack Swinski on the first pitch. At least he won't strike out, but he grounds out to second, and that ends the top of the sixth. Fedde gets himself a quality start. See if Skenes can get out of the sixth. The same. Moncada, the first batter, full count. And he walks him. Andrew Vaughn makes contact on the 0-2 pitch. Flies out to Sawinski. That's one down. Here comes DeJong. Makes contact out into left. It will fall down, and Reynolds won't be able to make a play on it. Moncada advances to second. Stassi 2 for 2 here. Makes contact up into center field. It looks like it's going to fall, and it does. Can Sawinski throw home in time? He does not. It is very wide. That is another RBI, and now we got to start thinking about getting Paul Skenes out of this game and back into the minor leagues. Sigh. All right, we'll get Baraki going. We'll get Holderman going. I'll have a mound visit. He feels good enough to keep going, so we'll have him pitch to Phillips here, who's on a cold streak. Phillips makes contact, and safe all around. Base is now loaded. God. This is not going very well at all. We'll put Baraki in here. Full count. Let's hope this is a strikeout, not a walk. Makes contact. Could be a double play. No. Oneil Cruz boots it. Another run comes across. Now it is 4-1. Now Bantiendi makes contact. Gets past Cruz. Another RBI. Looks like it might be 2. Throw home. He's safe, and things are going really bad now. This will be his last batter. Jimenez makes contact, skies it out into left, but Reynolds back far enough where that'll be a successful sacrifice fly. Run number 5 in the inning. And I will put Holderman in now, who will face Luis Robert. Makes contact right to Oneil Cruz, but that is enough damage for sure for the White Sox. 7 runs on the board now. We only have 3 runs to narrow this down. Fedde versus Tellez here to start off the 7th. Tellez opposite fields it, so with the shift, that should be a double. Easily. And it is. Let's see if that can start a 6-run rally here. Put your rally caps on. Edwards makes contact. Rounds it right to short, and that is 1 away. Can't even advance the runner over. Eddie Olivares up next, and on 4 pitches he walks. And at first and second now, Henry Davis up. And the former first-round pick strikes out swinging. Nick Gordon makes contact, shoots it right past Moncada, and we might have bases loaded, but Tellez is going home, and he is safe. RBI single for Nick Gordon. All right, here comes McCutchen. 2-2 count. In this situation, he has struck out a lot, and he will strike out there. So we plate 1. 1 is better than 0, but it's not 6. Let's see how Holderman can do. Strikes out his first batter, Moncada. Vaughn up next, full count, and makes contact, but Reynolds gets under it, out number 2. And DeJong grounds out to Cruz at short to end the 7th. All right, running out of time here. Oneil Cruz up, makes contact, should be a single, gets right past second base Nicky Lopez, and we have a base runner, and we're going to steal him. All right, he goes, and he is safe. Looks like they didn't even throw. Looks like he juggled it behind the plate, so a successful stolen base for Oneil Cruz. Certainly on pace for a 2020 season. Reynolds moves him over to third. Got to at least get the sacrifice here for Sawinski. And Sawinski... Oh, wild pitch. So Oneil Cruz comes in. Sawinski doesn't even have to do anything but step out of the way. And that is another run. So now we're only down 4. But Sawinski strikes out looking. Won't help our cause. Rowdy Tellez up now, who did come in the last inning. Full count here. Makes contact. That looks like it's got enough, and it does. Solo home run for Rowdy Tellez. I think that is home run number 30 for the former Milwaukee Brewer. And it is now a 3-run game, so we're pinching it. It's now a safe situation at the very least. Xavier Edwards up. Makes contact. Ooh, great play by Andrew Vaughn. But Xavier Edwards is safe. And you know we're going to send him. Stassi makes the throw. He is in there. Another successful stolen base. And Olivares, unfortunately, will strike out, so we can't do anything with it. But we put the pressure on at least a little. I'm going to get Aroldis Chapman going, I guess. And we'll have Holderman start against Max Stassi, who's been great for the White Sox in this game so far. But this time, he will pop it straight up. Oneil Cruz gets under it, and that is 1 away. And we'll do a mound visit here. Says he's still good. I'd like to get Chapman going, but since he's warming up, I'll keep Holderman in. Brett Phillips grounding out over to Edwards. And we'll give him one more batter. That's contact. Should be enough for Olivares to get under it. It is. That is the end of the 8th. And here comes Crochet in to get the save here. Interesting that he's their closer. Henry Davis to start things off against the lefty. 2-2 count. Pitch incoming. And Davis strikes out looking. 1 up, 1 down. Not a great start. Nick Gordon, though, will walk. So we got someone on the board. McCutcheon up next. And it looks like they threw over to first. And they're nervous about the stolen base, so they walk. McCutcheon, that's 2 straight base runners on walks. Oneil Cruz could tie the game up with a single swing, and on his first pitch, makes contact, grounds it to second. They'll get McCutcheon up at second base. Brian Reynolds up now, hitting from the right side of the plate. 2-0 count. Makes contact. Robert should be able to get that and put the game away, and he does. So we can't close it. Big victory for the White Sox. You hate to see a graph go that way and then drop so quickly, but it did. Skenes picks up the loss, 6 earned, which is surprising that he earned that many given the situation, but I guess they were all on him. So we'll probably end up sending Skenes back down to the minor leagues here. Fedde was the player of the game, 6 2/3 with 8 strikeouts. You hate to see double-digit strikeouts for your team, but lo and behold, out of the 20, we had 27 outs in that one. 12 of them were, they didn't even have to do anything but pitch the ball. So go ahead and finish that day. We'll simulate our next game. Keller hopefully will pick up the win here against Thorpe. And we do, so a 3-1 victory. Like to see that. Looks like it swung in the opposite direction there. White Sox started strong, and then we chipped away at the end there. Keller goes 6 2/3, only gives up 5 strikeouts. He is the player of the game. Looks like home runs from Rowdy Tellez and Henry Davis, so like to see that. Let's check out our news and notes. So Boston Bateman was convinced. Wow, so Boston Bateman signed to us. That is kind of shocking, but I like to see that. Let's see, negotiate with draftees. So no other options, but we did get Boston Bateman, so great news. And the All-Star Prospects game have been announced. There's Spencer Arrighetti, who we were looking at for that trade with Quinn Priester, so possibly still on the table there if he's making the futures game. Max Muncy? Is this a different Max Muncy? Kobe Mayo, a lot of names that if you follow prospects, you probably recognize here. Jared Jones makes it for Pittsburgh, so like to see that. Let's see if any of our other guys made it. Termar Johnson does make it as well, so the two guys that we would hope made it did make it, and they'll be playing in the prospects game. And then the All-Star, the All-Star rosters final voting results. So let's see, what did we vote for? We voted for Sal Perez, that matched. We voted for Vlad Guerrero, that matched. Altuve, that matched. Gunnar at shortstop, that matched just over Corey Seager. Jose Ramirez at third, that matched. Juan Soto, Mike Trout, Aaron Judge, Harold Ramirez. So it looks like everyone we voted for did get the top votes, though I forget how much your voting actually affects that, but nonetheless, Pablo Lopez, Kevin Gausman, Luis Castillo, actually number 3 here. Looks like Taj Broadley didn't even make it to the top 5 there. For our relievers, Caleb Thielber actually was the number 2 vote getter, and Emmanuel Clace. Not surprising there that he's number 3, but Will Smith nowhere to be found. For the National League, Sean Murphy, that's who we voted for. Encarnacion Strand, Albies, Austin Riley, Mookie Betts, Oneil Cruz, though, a close second. So that was the only one so far that wasn't the guy that we voted for. Corbin Carroll, actually, surprisingly, over Michael Harris there, but it looks like everything else was the guys we voted for. Justin Steele and Zach Wheeler, actually, over Freddie Peralta here and Dylan Cease. And then the relievers, Williams, Bednar in second, so just beaten out by Devin Williams. Camila Duvall, actually, the number 3 guy. No Rizal Iglesias, so there you go. Looks like Ohtani had the most overall votes in the National League, and the most overall votes in the American League went to Vlad Jr. And the final All-Star rosters, any names popping out here? I mean, the American League doesn't really matter to us. Let's check out the National League and see. Bednar, I think it's just going to be Bednar and possibly Cruz. Oh, Rowdy Tellez does make it, so looks like Freeman, Olsen, so 5 first basemen. Wow. Action-packed there. So the 3 guys that you would hope would make it for our team, Oneil Cruz, Rowdy Tellez, and David Bednar, all do make the All-Star team. We'll go ahead and simulate this last game here, and then we'll go ahead and watch the All-Star game in our next episode, as well as play games against Philadelphia and St. Louis, most likely. Crossing my fingers for a big victory here. And we did get a big victory. Rowdy Tellez was the player of the week. I don't know if that popped up for everyone, since sometimes the Steam overlay stuff does not. Anthony Trelongo informed that he was convinced. Love that. So we got another one of our guys, and we picked up the win. So we do take 2 out of 3 in that series, which is what I was hoping for when we came into this video. Looks like Roansy Contreras had a great performance, 5 1/3 with 0 earned. Home run for Paul Skenes. Interesting. So Paul Skenes played third base for us in this game and hit a home run. So I was actually going to pinch hit him at some point in the season, but apparently the AI just was more into it than even I was. And can he even play third base? Where's his his only position rating is pitcher, so that's crazy that they put him in at third base. But nonetheless, big home run for Paul Skenes, first of his career, right? Let's check this out. Profile, it's got to be. Doesn't even show me his hitting stats, right? Game started. Yeah, so he has hit in 2 games here. And that is his first hit, first home run. So we got a Madison Bumgarner on our hands here. Interesting way to end this video, but hopefully you guys are still enjoying. If you have any ideas on what you would like to see happen as we approach the trade deadline here, let me know. And as always, thank you so much for watching, and we'll keep this going as we approach the end of July here. Go Bucks.